that is working now in the catalysis area in the Institute of Physics in Mexico. I begin my career in catalysis by doing a thesis, I don't know how to call that, a thesis for my graduate in engineering. At this moment, the Institute of the Mexican Petroleum Institute begin with a group in catalysis, mainly on supported metals. This group was the first group in catalysis in Mexico who tried to understand and develop some catalysts for reforming. The first people who I found was Dr. Graciela Chacon, that he tells me about the research in catalysis. From this time, I was interested in continue with a doctoral thesis in France. I go in Institute of Research on Catalysis at Lyon. I take 4 years to my doctoral thesis, and mainly I was working in palladium and rhodium supported catalysts. The director of my work, my scientific work, was Professor Figueras. In coming back to Mexico, I was working also in the Mexican Petroleum Institute, and I make some works with reforming catalysts, trying to develop well-dispersed catalysts. At this in 1981, I know Dr. Miguel José Yacaman, and he tells me that he was very interested in catalysis, and he hoped to develop a group in catalysis at this institute. I come here to form a group in catalysis and to make characterization of supported metals, mainly small particles. I have 4 years, and we extend our, here I have some problems, to some other areas of catalysis. We make gasification of carbon, and we develop also sulfides, catalysis by sulfide metals, mainly cobalt molybdenum and nickel molybdenum catalyst. What do you think about it?
Well, why did you get interested in science when you were growing up? What interest caused you to become interested in science and take this in college?
Well, mainly because I was very interested in some practice that I make when in graduate school. I come to the laboratory of the Mexican Petroleum Institute, and I was very well impressed. It was some kind of fascinating works I found this, and the equipment that they also I never see anywhere. That's then to talk with people and to say the kind of equipment that it makes a great impression to me.
And you got your undergraduate degree in engineering?
Undergraduate. Well, I am a chemical engineer, and after that I make in catalysis and doing scientific.
And where did you go to college to get your bachelor's degree in engineering, or your first degree in engineering?
Well, I know exactly, but in English I can't explain. When I was in the second year of high school, I found the chemistry professor who had make to us a beautiful explanation about the atomic theory applied to chemistry. And also I knew some people that was working in the petroleum industry. They have good economical resource. Then I mix. I want to make science with petroleum because I think it was
a good deal. But it wasn't.
And where was this you went to college?
Then I decided that I want to study chemical engineering for petroleum industry. And I come to Mexico because I was born in Veracruz, Córdoba, Veracruz. And I came to Mexico because it was the only place where I can follow this kind of studies. That's it's like that.
And how did you find graduate school in France compared to working in Mexico?
Well, I think that the studies I follow in Mexico was very complete. The program was
Comprehensive?
No. It's a very extensive program of research. But the main problem in the universities of Mexico is that the professor or is not very falta mucho, ¿cómo se puede decir? The problem is that the professors is absent of the class.
Okay, he doesn't meet with the class.
He doesn't meet with the class. That's the problem. But in other way, I think that the program of France is quite equivalent, or the program in Mexico is quite equivalent to the program of studies in France. The difference is the that's the.
And when did you learn French?
Well, when I finished my thesis for chemical engineer, I know that in French there was that France was accepting people to make studies in catalysis, and in particular the Institute of Catalysis was interesting to me because I read some works from this laboratory. My thesis director comes from this place, and then the connection was
Easy.
easy to do.
So you just wrote to the school and they accepted you, or how did you get accepted to the school?
Okay, I write to, well, yes, just by, I make an application and they answered me that it was possible. They asked me what studies I was making. They tell me that the program of chemical engineering was very close in Mexico, that in France, and then it was possible to apply, to make one application at this university.
And what did you find most unique about graduate school in France?
Well, I think that the professors, I found in France a lot of professors with high quality. This one professor German, Professor Techner, Professor Claudel makes catalysis for a long time, and they make a very good explanation of the phenomenon of catalysis. I think that the fact to follow this course make me the catalysis more attractive to me.
And how would you describe Professor Claudel as a person?
Well, he is a very interesting man, because he has a facility to understand and to explain very complicated problems. He he teach to us, enseñar. He teach the complexities of the electronic theory, and also in contrast with this, they make also the complexity of diffusion, all the catalysis by diffusion, and then I think it is necessary to have a very large comprehension to make these two very yes, to make comprehensive to the students.
Now, he was the head of the School of Catalysis at that time?
No, the head of the catalysis school was Professor Techner. The director of the institute was Professor Imelik, because they are separated, the university from the Institute of Catalysis. And Professor German is I think the most reputed French people in catalysis, because they begin the school French in catalysis. At the beginning he was working with Ipatieff at Princeton, and he showed how he applied the school of Princeton in France. The last impression was my doctor, my oral examination. I was very nervous about it, but I think it was success. And at this moment, in 1979, the examinators were between the best in catalysis in France. Professor Gold, Professor Montarnal, Professor Tesner, Professor Germain, and Professor Figueras. But I was very, very, very
And
Right.
did they give you a difficult time on your examination, or was it very easy?
I think it was very easy because I make some previous interview with them, and in particular the most difficult, or the reputed as the most difficult examiner was Professor Germain. Nevertheless, in my work of thesis, I found some deactivation laws that agree very well with the activation works of Professor Germain 20 years ago. Then he was very, very proud, and he don't make me any problem. Yes, that's the history.
And how close did you interact with various faculty members during your research period?
Well, I don't have with the faculty members not a lot, mainly with Professor Germain, but in particular with some of his ayudantes, some of his assistants. It's with they that I make a lot of work. On the other hand, I was very interested in electron microscopy. I make a lot of electron microscopy because the characterization of small particles, which were one of the main subjects of my thesis, the influence of poisons and dispersion in catalytic properties of palladium and rhodium. Something else?
Well, during the 1970s in the United States was a period of student unrest. Did this apply in France also, where students were more interested in things outside of school than in school?
Excuse me, some kind of
Protest,
Movements?
yes.
okay. Well, no, it wasn't in the 60s mainly. It was in the 60s, but I don't know about this. I know about the contest phenomenon in Mexico. I was beginning my college in 1968. I was at the beginning of my college. ¿Cómo se llama?
Your college.
Of my college. And 1968 was a very difficult year for the students, and the contest was high, was very, very repressed in Mexico. And there was dozens of people, students, which died in this time because the government was using the army to repress the students. We don't know exactly which were the reasons. It seems that it was a cumulative effect from a lot of things. I don't think that it was spontaneous. It reflects some problems that became accumulative through the years, and it made explosion in 1968. I think that this year at the UNAM National University there was some other expression of contest of the students to the political of the
authorities.
to the authorities. But this year was best well organized, and it don't became some this time were not I don't know.
Say it in Spanish.
Este año también hubo movimiento estudiantil en contra de las autoridades y del gobierno, pero este año se organizó mejor que hace 20 años. Los estudiantes cerraron la universidad, they closed the university, they make many public manifestations. But this time there was not blood. This what? No sé. En English no. Esta vez los estudiantes lograron convencer a las autoridades que tomaran un punto de vista de diálogo, de pláticas entre los estudiantes y las autoridades. Y actualmente en este año se debe llevar a cabo un congreso. This year will take place a congress between students and authorities of the university in order to program the university they wish to the
To have.
20.
They wish to have.
They wish to have in the next century. Then I think it was very successful, this contest of the students the last year.
And how did you find Mexico coming back from France? Was there a big change while you were gone, or?
Well, I come back to Mexico in 1989. 1979. I was really optimistic because in this time the amount of money to the research at the Institute of Petroleum was very significant. A lot of big equipment was obtained about this year. Electron microscope, mass spectrometer, a lot of chromatograph. Then this year, about the 1918, was the best year for to equip the laboratories for catalysis. I think that the economical was very favorable to research at this moment. Then I was very content, very optimistic about my position, my career in catalysis.
Looking back over a few years, what are you proudest that you accomplished so far in your life?
In my personal life,
Scientific
in my scientific,
or personal?
well, Um, I think that the work I make for my doctoral thesis, I was very proud of this work. Nevertheless, another thing that made me proud is that I can reach some other areas of research in catalysis. That means that I was capable to follow many different areas in research in catalysis, and that made me proud because I think it necessitates to good comprehension of the phenomenon. That's
Well, I need you at least to say your name since I didn't get turned on in time to get your name.
Tu nombre no lo sacó.
My name is Sergio Fuentes Moyado. I was born in Fortín, Veracruz, a place near to the Gulf Ocean, to the Gulf of Mexico, and I was born the 27 March 1950. Something.
Well,
Okay.
That's me now. Hi, my name is Gabriela Diaz. I was born in Puebla. It's a beautiful city, 120 kilometers far from Mexico. I was born there, and I make all my elementary studies in that city. I make my college in chemistry there in the University of Puebla, and in the 1976 I came to Mexico City to make my thesis in order to get my graduate in chemistry. I make my thesis in catalysis. I begin from this year my research in catalysis, working in the supported metals, in platinum and palladium supported catalyst in hydrogenation reactions. When I obtained my graduate in chemistry in the University of Puebla, I came definitively to Mexico City in order to make my master in science degree in the Universidad Autónoma Metropolitana here in Mexico. And I decided to continue in the catalysis field, always in the supported metals. I make 2 years from to get my master degree in catalysis. I worked with bimetallic systems in platinum ruthenium supported catalyst, always in the hydrogenation reactions and hydrogenolysis reactions. And at that time, catalysis was the field I must continue in that field. I feel that that was my field. And when I finished my master degree, I made an application to go to a laboratory in France to obtain my PhD degree, always in catalysis. And I decided to go to the laboratory of Professor Goll, and he was the most reputed researcher in the field of reaction mechanism using labeled molecules. And I was very attracted to that field, and I asked him to take me in his laboratory for my thesis. That was in 1979. When I came in France that year, Professor Go was died, unfortunately, but I continue in his laboratory until I obtained my PhD degree. I was 3 years and a half in France, in Strasbourg, in the laboratory of Professor Go, and then I make my examination for my PhD degree, and then I returned to Mexico City in '82. I had a system. I was assistant in chemistry in the Universidad Autónoma Metropolitana, and I recovered my place in the university. I worked always with supported metals. From my master thesis until my PhD thesis, I worked with platinum ruthenium catalyst, supported catalyst, and bulk catalyst. In France, I studied this system in the reaction, the mechanism in the alkane reactions. I studied the platinum ruthenium bulk alloys with the spectroscopic techniques like ESCA and Auger. And when I returned to Mexico City, we didn't have the equipment to continue this branch of what I did in my PhD thesis, but I continued to work in supported metals, another alkane reactions, but without labeled molecules. And I spent 3 years in this university, and then Professor Miguel José Yacaman had the idea of forming a group in catalysis in the Institute of Physics, and he took with him Sergio Fuentes, and then I was called to join the formation of the group in catalysis here in the Institute of Physics. Here, since I joined the institute, I'm still working with supported metals, but we are also developing the catalysis by sulfides here in the institute. And I think it's...
how would you describe Professor Guth?
I didn't knew him personally, I always have letters with him, but the year 1 month before I came and work from his all the literature you can read about him. I think it was a very, very good researcher.
And who did you work with in his school then?
With his, how do you say, his alumno, his, the person who has worked, his
assistant?
Assistant, yes, it was. His assistant, he take me as a student, and he brought me to my thesis. It was a very hard time because the laboratory was at that time, after the death of Professor Go. It was a hard time for the people of the laboratory because he was the leader,
the energy.
The energy, and it was a surprising death during his vacancies, his holiday, and it was very, very hard, and very hard for me because I was very, very proud to go to his laboratory and to work with him. Unfortunately, I didn't arrive to make that, but all the people of his group were so prepared to go further in his research as he will do.
And what was it that caused you to go into chemistry?
How? Really, I don't know. I think my father is a school teacher. He teaches physics in the secondary school. And I think always at home I have the notion of science. And then when I go to high school and I have my first contact with chemistry in another degree, different from secondary school, I think that I would like to continue this in chemistry. Then I went to the university. I chose the chemistry career, and each year I was very, very it was very satisfying for me about my career. I thought that I made the good choice. And then, but it was very, very amazing. But I always thought about the biochemistry or biological field of chemistry. And exactly, I don't know where I branch to the industrial chemistry or inorganic chemistry, organic chemistry in catalysis. Really, I don't know the moment, exactly moment where I switch off the biology and get the catalysis, industrial catalysis. But I'm very, very satisfying about my career. I think I have a long way to go, and I think I have the time.